Welcome to another edition of Pittsburgh Sportsline live in the BPTV studios. I'm Al Levine, the talking machine. Normally we have Smoking Jim Frazier with us. He had a quadruple bypass last Monday. He's at home. Everything's okay. He's resting comfortably. I'm not sure what he's eating because I always was saying he's a 350-pound man. I heard he's lost about 50 pounds, so we'll see what he's like. Smoking Jim, if you're watching it, get back soon. We're still praying for you. Lots of people are reaching out asking, how's your man Smoking Jim Frazier? And I'm with Chip the Prophet Hayner here. Of course, we got lots of sports to talk about on Pittsburgh Sportsline. And I always like to show what I have going on here to start the show. First off, Olive Oil's Pizzeria, 412-831-1900. They sponsor our show with an XL pizza and a steak hoagie, which they're both delicious. Thank you very much, Frank, at Olive Oil's Pizzeria. Next, we got the Joey Fabus Childhood Cancer Foundation. Poor Joey died before his 9th birthday with DIPG. And it's just a sad state of affairs there. Go to Joey Fabus Childhood Cancer Foundation. Donate $1. Check out their events. By the way, they got an event coming up. What is this? Friday, May 12th. Community Center in Bethel Park. Horse races, $10 a horse. 10 horses in a race. You could win $40. All the money donated is to the 501c3, the Joey Fabus Childhood Cancer Foundation. They got baskets, lots of people coming there, and great activities, so check that out. Okay, then Dave Cable has me as Uncle Al. I want you for BPTV. We got Devin Shea in our control room. You could be doing stuff like that. We usually have a cameraman in here. He set that up. We got Ethan coming in helping on sound. So check out BPTV. Give them a call. Let's see. We got the Bethel Park Historical Society Schoolhouse Art and Center. It's a historic landmark. They're repairing it, putting different activities there, and have people renting it out. So check it out. You can check out their site. Donate as little as $1. It's great. It has the trolley there on South Park Road. All right, then. We have money for you through the Bethel Park Community Foundation. You can go to bpcf.org, get an application there. We have from $100 to $5,000 for your group or organization doing good things in the community of Bethel Park. There's money there. Matter of fact, we'll be having our meeting on the 25th, and guess where? The Schoolhouse Art History Center. So
there you go.
We'll be there. So it's a small world there. Check it out. Thanks for listening to all these promos. I know I got stuff there. I got one more thing. One of our guests last night was Angelo Magnone of Made Men Productions. He promotes boxing. They have a Rivers Rumble on June 24th. It's a great venue right next to the river. They have a boxing ring and seats, and it's just unbelievable. It'll be a great time there. He gets great boxers. Local Pittsburgh fighters will be fighting there, and check it out. That's the Rivers Rumble 6, Rivers Casino. $30 for advanced seats, reserve seats, $50. First bell, 7 p.m., and they're pretty punctual there. We all know how boxing runs a little late. All right, we usually start our first segment, and we're going to stay to it. What's on your mind, Chip Hayner?
Well, thank you, Alan. And, after a dark day like yesterday, we'll call that a Black Monday. Not only did the Penguins forget that there was a game at the paint can last night, the Pirates seemed to forget that there was a game to be played in the Chavez Ravine against the LA Dodgers. The Pirates got tattooed 12-1. That after the news of Jameson Taillon being operated on for testicular cancer. And our thoughts and prayers go out to Jameson and his family. And we do hope for a speedy recovery. And, the last thing on anybody's mind regarding him right now should be baseball. It should be his health and well-being. And I'll tell you what, it really breaks my heart for this young man because, he so far, before he even began his major league career, had to go through Tommy John surgery. Then he had to end up with a hernia surgery before he even made it to the major leagues. And through all this adversity, he has still persevered, and he's made it to the major leagues, and he was performing at a very
he was like an
at a very adequate pace.
He was like an advanced age pitcher.
And so you just wonder. And I heard a comment that was a statement that was written by him. It wasn't written by the Pirates publicist.
Right.
Where, he's going to take this negative and he's going to turn it into a positive. And I think this is going to be another one of those stories, just like James Connors, where somebody is going to go up against pretty insurmountable odds and he's going to come out a winner because of his positive attitude and his, his never say die. I mean, you just wonder how much more does this young man have to go through to fulfill his dream of playing in the major leagues. I mean, I would have never expected this. I mean, how they came across that now when everybody's given physicals at the beginning of spring training. But
this is pretty serious.
This is definitely this is, one of the most treatable forms of cancer.
Right.
On the positive note, is testicular cancer. And it usually happens to young men between the ages of 18 and 35. It's not something that generally afflicts men of older age. As we get older, we have to worry about prostate cancers and things of that nature. So with all the adversity that's happening with the Pittsburgh Pirates, the odd thing about this season, and it seems like this season, a lot of people have written it off already. I, of course, have not, because I am always the eternal optimist. The glass is always going to be half full. And if you think about the Pirates at 14 and 18 right now, okay, and we're still only 2 games out of first place. We're in last place, but we're still only 2 to 3 games out. I mean, you could be in a lot worse positions, and, there's quite a bit of upside to come. Gong will eventually be back, and, as soon as his hearing, which I believe is until the 25th of May, Marte will come back at some point. Now, what Starling Marte we will get remains to be seen, because who knows if any of his success was a product of the performance-enhancing drugs that he was taking, or if he really is truly that gifted of an athlete, and he's got to make some amends. He's just not going to be able to come back and everybody's going to pat him on the back and this is okay. He needs to produce, and he needs to produce at an all-star level, because he certainly did let down the team. He let down the city of Pittsburgh. He let down the fans of the Pittsburgh Pirates. He let down the management of the Pirates. The list goes on and on. So, he's got a lot. Will we forgive him? Well, let me put it to you this way. Sports fans are like this. If he helps us win games, he will be forgiven. And if not, well, then, we'll have to go to plan B. Same thing with Young Ho Gong. There's a young man who's got, alcohol problems. I hope he's getting the help that he needs. Can he be forgiven? Well, and he starts jacking the ball out of PNC Park on a regular basis. Yeah, we're going to welcome him back into the fold. But, it's funny how sports are and how sports fans are. You forget their misgivings as long as they produce.
Yes.
So, that's the world we live in. But, hey, that's what's on my mind this week.
Thanks, Chip. I appreciate it. I got a couple things on my mind. First is Smokin' Jim Frazier. Did my second show without him last night at Campides Pizza. Had great guests, great time at Campides Pizza. We'll talk about that on location. So I'm praying for brother Smokin' Jim Frazier's good health, recovery from splitting open that chest, doing a quadruple bypass that he told Chip about. He only told me about 3 arteries. Now I found out it's 4. I texted him the last couple of days. He said he's doing great machine. So I'm taking that as a positive note to all his fans. If you're watching the show, keep Smoking Jim in your prayers. He's still one of the nicest guys with the best smile that I know in the business. And he's not as busy as he should be right now. He's got to be at home. I mean, he lost over 47 pounds. That's amazing. That heart must have been ready to quit on him if they pulled that kind of liquid out of him. I'm not going to speculate anymore. I'll keep texting him and get the one-word answers. I asked him how he's eating. He said, egg whites, LOL. So I'll leave that part on his health. I know he got to get rid of those fried chicken baskets. Can't do that anymore. Get some good home cooking. Hopefully his mother's there and they're cooking up some good stuff for Smoking Jim Frazier. And he goes to the doctor on Friday, and I'll post any updates that I do hear from him and possibly when he'll be back on a show. So, but we'll do without him. I miss some giving in. If you want the green, see Levine.
Yes,
couldn't get to put that out.
And I can't steal Jim's thunder, but I do have a. Here's a little teaser. I'll give you some input that I got from Jim about this year's draft.
I can't wait for that teaser. Can't wait to hear it. Although the information got to be a little weak.
Yeah, well,
because he does work 3 days a year, and he missed that.
But Jim always gives a grade out every year for the Steelers draft.
Let me guess, D+.
And I'll share that with you, and I'll talk about his input, and he can settle up with me later.
Well, D+. What's on my mind is I got to agree with Chip. I watched a couple bad games, the Buccos yesterday, and I watched the Penguin game. I predicted they'd win in 6. Now, I got to say, where were they at? I noticed the team that looked despondent there didn't have the energy. Fleury kept us in the game. It could have been 12-0 like the Bucco game if he wasn't blocking some shots and things. They should have been able to take him out, put Jari in there, give Fleury a rest in a game when no defense was there and the offense was terrible. They were in our end most of the time. Then we scored a couple goals. So I'm hopeful for Game 7 tomorrow night. Wednesday night, we got an undefeated record there and beating the Capitals 3-0, I think it is. So
well, in the Penguins in road Game 7s, 5-0. That's one of the blessings about not having home ice advantage because the Penguins don't do well in Game 7 here in Pittsburgh.
Well, I'm glad they're not here. That's the optimistic. I'm usually positive about things. The Buccos still have 162 games to play. They're going to find players. They got some great pitching. They got to get some hits, play some small ball until these guys can come back or they can figure out who's going to hit the home run ball. So I'm hopeful there with the Buccos. It's a long year, and they do have a lot of great players that are still up here with us. We just need production from them. So
absolutely,
I'll wait for that, and we'll be back after a little commercial. Don't change that dial. Chief, get some dessert.
I've shown an interest in making home movies. Me and some buddies would just grab a camera and you just start making these videos, and then you realize at some point that this isn't just a hobby anymore. It's something that you actually want to pursue, and there's this great facility right down the road, BPTV. A lot of people will try to do these productions on their own, and one of the things they don't have is the equipment, but right here is everything that you need in one nice little bundle. There's lights, cameras, reflectors, dollies, all kinds of little knickknacks. Like anything that you'd want to use that you would need for a production, you have it right here. Like it's all right here. You can make your own feature movie just with the stuff from this studio. Come meet Dave Cable, let him show you around. And I think you'll realize that this is something that you could fall into regardless of your level of expertise, whether you're a beginner or even if you're a more advanced learner. There's something here for everyone, and I feel that you just need to come through and just be a part of the experience and just watch and learn, and let Dave be your guide.
One of the things we do at BPTV is encourage our producers to film on location. Not only does shooting on location give our producers the opportunity to take advantage of their subject matter, filming in different locations gives each program its own distinct flavor. This also helps anyone who's flipping through the channels avoid confusion when they turn on BPTV. With around 500 programs produced at BPTV each year, the last thing we want people to think is that we're only broadcasting one program. So, you need to come into BPTV to pitch your TV show, but in terms of where you actually end up taping your show, the sky's the limit.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Chips Trivia. Once again, everybody knows my passion for the game of baseball. I'm going to share some feats from years gone by in the game of baseball, things that I felt something that we should make note of. The first one, I'm going to go all the way back, man. I'm going way back on this one, Alan, all the way back to 2015.
Whoa!
All the way back to April 29th, 2015. In what was believed to be the first major league game played without fans in attendance, Chris Davis hit a 3-run homer in a 6-run first inning as the Baltimore Orioles beat the Chicago White Sox after a pair of postponements caused by rioting in Baltimore. The Orioles and the White Sox played at Camden Yards. The gates at Camden Yards were locked because of concern for fan safety following recent rioting in Baltimore after a 25-year-old African-American man died in police custody. And, I bring this up because, not only was that, a very, very tragic series of events, but the fact that this was 2 years ago, and I was like, wow. It seems like a blink of an eye. I remember that very, very well. And I
remember hearing it, Chip, so thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah, that's something to remind us about. Next, going back, this one's going way, way back, okay?
All right, I can't.
All the way back into the dead ball era in 1905. Jack McCarthy of the Cubs threw out 3 runners at the plate, each of whom became the second out of a double play. McCarthy's defense preserved a 2-1 win over the Pirates. And that would have been down at Exposition Field over on the north side. There's a plaque down there regarding that. That was on April the 26th, 1905. And also, you think about, the years that, when, the steroid boys were popping home runs like they were going, they were nobody's business. Well, the first person to break Babe Ruth's record of 60 home runs was Roger Maris. And he did that in the year 1961, ironically enough. The year after the Pirates beat the Yankees in the World Series with Bill Mazeroski's heroics. But it was not until April the 26th that Roger Maris of the New York Yankees hit his first of his 61 home runs. He connected in the 5th inning against Detroit's Paul Foytak. So, he went almost the entire month of April without hitting a home run, yet still surpassed Babe Ruth's record. Pretty amazing feat. Also, April 26, 1980, Hall of Fame left-hander, and they used to refer to him just as Lefty. Steve Carlton pitched for the St. Louis Cardinals and the Philadelphia Phillies. He pitched the 6th one-hitter of his career on April the 26th, 1980, against St. Louis for a National League record. The Phillies beat the Cardinals 2-0. And his current team at that time beat his former team. So, pretty interesting little side note there. Going back to April the 29th in 2005, another semi-significant event, for stat geeks like myself. In the first matchup between 300-game winners in almost 18 years, The Cubs, Greg Maddux outdueled the Astros, Roger Clemens, in Chicago's 3-2 win over Houston. Maddux earned his first win of the season and the 306th of his career, allowing 2 runs over 7 hits in 6 innings. And I do believe that Greg Maddux is probably one of the greatest pitchers of the modern era that I have witnessed. He was not tainted in any way, shape, or form with performance-enhancing drugs. He never threw a fastball over 90 miles an hour. But boy, that guy could paint the black on the plate. And, they say, just as in real estate, the same goes for pitching. Location, location, location. He could change speeds. He could throw it in, out, up, down, no matter what. And he kept hitters guessing. And the guy, if he'd walked up to him on the street, people say that you would confuse him for a librarian. You'd never believe that he was a major league pitcher. But one of my favorite pitchers of all time. 2005, it was the first matchup between 300-game winners. And who knows if we'll ever see 2 300-game winners
I think it's going to be
do
hard
the same. Yeah.
It'll be difficult with just the way the seasons are, the day-night games.
The way the seasons are. Yeah, it's the era of specialization. You're thinking about that. Somebody winning 15 games
20
a year for 20 years. And then, most guys just don't have the wherewithal. So going back now to my dear friend, the left-hander, Steve Carlton, struck out Montreal. This was on April the 29th, 1981. So this is 1 year after he pitched his 6th one-hitter. He struck out Montreal's Tim Wallach in the first inning of the Phillies' 6-2 victory over visiting Expos, and he became the 6th major league pitcher and first left-hander to strike out 3,000 batters in his career.
Wow,
yes,
what
sir.
an honor.
Also, before he started using performance-enhancing drugs, Roger Clemens, on April the 29th, 1986, set a major league record by striking out 20 batters as the Red Sox defeated the Mariners 3-1. That brings me to another left-handed pitcher, another strikeout machine. Probably the second left-hander to reach over 3,000 strikeouts. Randy Johnson, on May the 8th, 2001, became the 3rd pitcher to strike out 20 in 9 innings, but didn't finish the game as Arizona Diamondbacks went on to beat Cincinnati 4-3 in 11 innings. So now we've got Roger Clemens striking out 20 in one game. We've got Randy Johnson striking out 20 in one game, and they say there were 3 of them. The third one was a rookie who pitched for the Chicago Cubs, Kerry Wood.
Oh, I remember when he come up.
When he came up like a gang, like a house of fire, and unfortunately, his star burned bright, but only for a short period of time. And his career left. Also, May 8th, 1968, the Catfish, Jim Hunter, the Oakland A's, pitched a perfect game. There haven't been a lot of perfect games pitched in Major League history. A no-hitter is one thing. A perfect game means you face 27 batters, 27 up, 27 down. That's a significant accomplishment. It's only happened one time in the World Series in all the years that baseball's been around. Don Larson, Game 6 of the 1956 World Series, I believe.
Yeah, it was 56.
Okay. Also, before performance-enhancing drugs became the thing to do, Frank Robinson, who was a Hall of Fame outfielder, started playing for the Cincinnati Reds, finished up his career playing for Earl Weaver's Baltimore Orioles, became the only player to hit a home run out of Baltimore's Memorial Stadium. Robinson hit a 451-foot home run. It traveled 451 feet in the air. By the time it stopped rolling, 541 feet total, on a fly over the left field wall off of Cleveland's right-hander, Louis Tiant.
Dead on. Wow.
So that's the only 500-foot home runs that I recall ever being hit. Most of them were hit by Mickey Mantle.
Yes.
And he hit one in Washington that I believe still to this day is the longest home run ever hit. But long before they started doing the juice. In 1922, April the 29th, the New York Giants hit 4 inside the park home runs at Braves Field in Boston. George Kelly hit 2, Ross Youngs and Dave Bancroft hit the others.
That's amazing.
That's amazing. 4 inside the park home runs. And also, to finish out my trivia, because I've been thinking a lot about this man lately, probably one of the greatest athletes that ever put on a pair of spikes in this city, the great Roberto Clemente is the only man in Major League Baseball history to hit a walk-off inside the park home run to win a game. And it was so funny because he ran through the stop sign that the third base coach was giving to him. And the coaches and the manager went to yell at him afterwards, and they were like, "Why didn't you stop? We were giving you the stop sign." He said, "If I score, we win." But that's it.
Arriba.
That's Chip's trivia for this week.
Ah, that was some great trivia there, man. 4 inside the park home runs, 2 by the same guy.
Yes, that was back in the day when, once the ball got over the outfielder's head, a lot of stadiums didn't really have, walls. Or if one of the stadiums that I would have absolutely loved to see a ball game in was the Polo Grounds in New York.
Yeah.
Which was the home of the New York Giants. It actually was the home for the first 2 seasons for the New York Mets before they built Shea Stadium. But that ballpark had, you needed a cannon to shoot one out of there. It was, I believe it was 440 feet to center field.
It was huge, absolutely huge. A lot of ground balls rolling now. Mm-hmm. They keep on rolling. Thanks again, Chip. Appreciate Chip's trivia time. Now we're going to go to our On Location segment. For the On Location segment, we're at the Campides Pizzeria, 4603 Library Road, right behind where the Sheets is on 88. Thanks to Frank Shrello, the owner, for having us in there. Had some great guests, Angelo Magnone of Made Men Productions, Dr. Valerie Donaldson, a doctor, an actual medical doctor, talking about different health aspects and what you can do to stay healthy and youthful. And Frank Velasquez with AHN, he's a director at their sports complex at Cool Springs. So we appreciate that. Had some good conversation there in our On Location segment. We're looking for On Location at this point in time. I'm not sure where we're going. I'm going to a few different places to check out and see what they might do. And hey, I got a text from a guy who has a text only. Smokin' Jim is watching our show, and he sent this very important message. You two look good on TV. Thanks, Smokin' Jim. Thumbs up to that.
Jim, I mean this very sincerely. Get well soon. We miss you, buddy.
Yeah, I ditto that. I miss you, Smokin' Jim. Thanks. And keep chewing on those egg whites and all that healthy stuff that you got to eat. Hope Mama come home to
Hey Jim,
cook.
if you're watching, why did you think it was a good idea for the Steelers to take a long snapper?
Oh, he let the cat out of the bag.
I love you, Jim.
Smokin' Jim, I text you back, but since you're watching, you can hear me. Thanks for the text, brother. Glad I could take time out of the show to read your text to the folks that watch our show every week. And thanks again for watching us on Comcast 7, only in Bethel Park. Verizon 32 everywhere in the greater Pittsburgh area, from Nemacolin to Cranberry Wexford. And we had Chip a big jump on our Facebook likes. We went up to 6,421 likes.
Nice.
So some people liked us, come out of the woods from nowhere and got more likes for watching our show and enjoying what we do. And that was my On Location report with a little interruption from Smokin' Jim Frazier.
Never an interruption from Jim, man. Always great to hear from you.
Here, call me Smokin' Jim. I'll put you on the air because I'm mic'd up. No, rest up, buddy. We can only imagine there. We're going to go to another little break here, so please don't change that dial. and come back, and we're going to be talking some Penguins.
Visit the Oliver Miller Homestead, an 18th century reenactment site located just off the Circle on Corrigan Drive in South Park. Self-guided tours are available each Sunday from May 1st until December 8th from 1:30 until 4:30 p.m. with guides in 18th century garb located around the grounds to answer questions and to give information. Your tour will begin in a reproduction bank barn where displays give information on the movement west. You will also see the Miller Still and learn about the production of whiskey and the importance of it and of the Whiskey Rebellion to this area. Follow the Miller Trail up the path and visit the transportation shed, demonstration shed, forge, a reproduction log house, the original spring house, gardens, and finally end at the stone house. Each month, the guides host at least one special event. The homestead is also a great place for tours, tailored to the needs of school-aged children, scout groups, or adults. Visit our website at www.olivermillerhomestead.org for a schedule for the year and much more information on the history of the Miller family, our organization, and pricing information.
One of the things we do at BPTV is encourage our producers to film on location. Not only does shooting on location give our producers the opportunity to take advantage of their subject matter, filming in different locations gives each program its own distinct flavor. This also helps anyone who's flipping through the channels avoid confusion when they turn on BPTV. With around 500 programs produced at BPTV each year, the last thing we want people to think is that we're only broadcasting one program. So, you need to come into BPTV to pitch your TV show, but in terms of where you actually end up taping your show, the sky's the limit.
Thanks for tuning in to Pittsburgh Sports Line. Al Levine, the talking machine here. Chip Hayner with us, and Smoking Jim Frazier's watching us at home on his 92-inch flat screen TV. Thanks, Smoking Jim Frazier. And that long snapper thing, I'm glad they got the long snapper.
Does he have that many TVs in his house?
Well, that's just one of them.
No, I was going to say you had 92. So I'm picturing 92-inch screens.
No. He has a 92-inch flat screen TV.
All right, I just that way you can keep.
He got a TV in every room.
He's got a different football game on every one. That's what I was thinking.
He has the Shrine at home, which is now 2 rooms with all the photos of models and sweeties for Jimmy.
Wow.
So he's expanded to 2 rooms of his house. Only he could do it.
So last night, who knew?
Oh, Penguins. I want to avoid talking that.
Thursday, here we are. Penguins are up 3-1. We're thinking, yeah, the Penguins are going to close out the Capitals. And here we are 4 days later, and we're wondering if the Penguins are going to win another game this playoff season. The performance that the Penguins had last night was certainly the worst performance of Mike Sullivan's coaching career. Penguins looked like they were outmatched. It looked like they were outskated. They were out-hit. They had no energy. They had no energy. But the good thing is it only counts as one loss. Clint Herrill said this last night after the Pirates got drubbed. He goes, the good thing about a game like last night is that it only counts as one loss. Okay, it doesn't count as 3 losses. It didn't eliminate them from anything.
Right.
But it did put the Penguins on notice that, they need a lot more production out of their forwards. The defense corps has been decimated.
Oh, yeah.
With losing Letang, losing Trevor Daley. Their ability to get the puck out of their own end. They need to play with the puck in the Capitals' end and be an offensive force, because if you noticed, when they played on Thursday night, when they beat the Capitals 3-2 in game 4,
Yeah.
They went into a defensive shell, and they, for all rights and purposes, should have lost game 4 somehow because of the efforts of Marc-Andre Fleury. They were able to win that game. But they were certainly outclassed and outskated in games 5 and game 6. So,
without it, they were standing around so much, and the puck was in their area.
Mm-hmm.
Fleury did a heck of a job. It could have been 10-0, maybe 12-0. I was kidding about earlier,
Right.
with the shots that come at him from every angle possible.
Well, and the Penguins had a very intense practice today, I heard. They could have gone a couple of different directions, and the coach watched the film of the game last night, and they worked on things that could, some schemes that would help them to become more offensive, because that's what the Penguins have to do. When they've played well, they've kept the play in the other team's end. But every single game in this playoff run so far, with the exception of one, Penguins have been outshot in every game but one, against Columbus and against the Washington Capitals. So,
I think they've shot more. I think I heard numbers 230-something to 134 shots for the Penguins.
Yes, and
It's
and the
almost astronomical.
That's astronomical, and you can't continue to rely on your goaltender to stop that many shots. You've got to,
and they're blocking 20, 30 shots
and
a game.
and the
legitimate shots.
which don't actually count as shots on goal, because for it to be a
block.
shot on goal, it's got to make it to the goaltender. Okay, so if they're blocking it, the Penguins are beat up. They need to find some way to get some life back in their legs, and they got to be the team that they were last year, fast and a skilled team, because these teams like the Capitals and Columbus Blue Jackets are big, rough, physical teams, and the Penguins, that's just not their makeup.
They've been getting out hit every game. It's by
And
big
then
numbers.
I think that it's taking its toll on them. I think.
Here, whether it is or not, it sure looked that way last night.
Right, and
To
like
be
we said,
down 5-0 before they scored a couple goals at the end, was terrible.
right, and believe me when I say this, every professional sports team has a game like the Penguins had last night. It's just, it's human nature.
It's just when you're going to have it.
I don't look at anybody as saying that they're laying down, but I do believe that there are some players that could be have more of an impact on the outcome of the game. And these are players like Phil Kessel, Evgeny Malkin. Even though Evgeny Malkin is putting up points, this playoff series, when is Gino gonna take control of a game? I mean, he's a guy that can dominate a game, and he needs to step up and and take charge. And I honestly think that for the Penguins to beat the Capitals tomorrow night, they're going to need goals scored by Crosby and Malkin. The both of them need to come up. And what happened to Phil Kessel's shot, I don't know.
Yeah.
Patrick Hornquist is banged up.
He's been getting crushed with some of the hits and things.
They got to find a way to get the puck past Brandon Holtby, because Holtby is a Vezina Trophy finalist, and he seems to have found his game. He was a little bit questionable early in the series, games 1 and games 2, but ever since
Once they pulled him.
once game 3 on, he has been money, and can Marc-Andre Fleury steal us a game? That's what we need him to do right now.
Well, I'm counting on the choking Capitals.
Yeah.
They have this choking disease that I'm counting on that, and the players will be rejuvenated, because the desperation we've seen with the Capitals the last couple games, we need that tomorrow night.
Well, and
That's what you got to see.
On a positive note there, because I try to look at the glass half full. The last time the Penguins played the Capitals in a Game 7 in Landover was 2009, and we had a little parade in June downtown that year. So
I'm hopeful.
You know, I mean, we pull that out, and I really see that, you know, Washington is being the biggest obstacle to overcome to make it to win the Stanley Cup. But I'll tell you, a team that the Penguins need to keep an eye on if they make it past the Capitals, the Nashville Predators. Watch out for that team. They're another big, muscular
Well, we got to
team.
get past tomorrow night.
Yeah.
That's the first
Yes, we do.
business order of business there.
But you know, can they win? Absolutely, they can. They've won 3 games out of the series already. But if they come out and put an effort in like they did yesterday, they can start making tea times for Thursday because
yeah.
you know.
Sad to say, I like the speed and the talent and the scoring that they had last year, and I did predict they'd go back-to-back. Well, I'm past my Game 6. I thought we'd win it in 6 games. We've got to win it in 7 to move on to be back-to-back champions.
Yeah.
They have the talent. They got the players. They got them this far. They just need to come back and do that on the ice tomorrow night. I'm waiting for that. So that's where we're at. We can only beat it up so much. We got to talk some Pirates.
Sure.
They've had some great pitching to be 14-18. I mean, we're lucky to be 14-18 with the players that we've lost, the
Yes.
lack of hitting we've had, the poor defense we've had.
Now,
I mean, it's
the
shocking.
two biggest things that I feel are issues that need to be worked on, and I know they're being worked on, and you know the results aren't going to be, is the defense, number one, and the lack of offense. You know, they need to get better production. They need to get better production out of McCutchen, out of Polanco. You know, they really only have 2 outfielders right now. Okay, the unfortunate part is you got to play 3. So that subsequently the Pirates have had to put John Jaso in right field. He's got no business playing right field. He
just learned how to play first base
You know,
last year. We need him there.
he's not a right fielder. Gregory Polanco being moved to left field seems to be lost. And not only has he lost his ability to be able to play the field,
He's not doing
it's,
well
it's
at that.
it's affected his play at the plate.
Yeah,
And, you know, we expected much bigger things. I was thinking this year, you know, 20 to 25 home runs out of Gregory Polanco was something that was reasonable.
I was thinking 25 homers, 100 RBIs.
You know, I was thinking
But he crossed
you
over
know,
to do that.
Marte does not seem to be a big home run hitter. I was expecting Marte to get maybe 15 to 20, and I was thinking Kutch, you could look for
Around
him
20.
for 20 to 25, you know. And I think that could have been a very nice piece to the Pirates' puzzle. But
We don't have it.
the outfield has been in disarray the entire year, and I blame the World Baseball Classic on that because, you know, what these guys needed to be doing instead of playing in the World Baseball Classic was they needed to be playing in the Pirates' outfield, and they needed to learn to play the outfield
position,
together,
yeah.
you know. And there seems to be a lack of communication, you know, sloppy play, you know, and you're seeing it all the way around the field.
Just straight up bad defense.
Well,
I mean,
right now I think the Pirates have the absolute worst defense in the National League,
yeah.
without any question. And these are people that have been known to be good fielders.
we were told that we had the best 3 outfielders, and
And,
we have 2 of them right now that are playing.
And they're not
So-
playing very well.
No,
You know,
or hitting. So.
No, and you know, usually McCutchen starts out slow, and you know he's not lighting the world on fire, but you know, and he isn't stinking to join out. But you know,
We need more.
This is just you know, a lot of what's going on right now is brought on by the selfishness of 2 particular players. 2 particular players that we counted on to be big pieces of the puzzle this year. Starling Marte for getting caught using performance-enhancing
Steroids,
drugs. And, you know, Jung Ho Gong, who seems to have a problem holding his liquor. And,
Well, we got to hope, like you said earlier, that he is getting help.
well, you know, I mean, for him to not be getting help and doing this to the Pittsburgh Pirates, you know, he made a commitment to this team and to this management group. They expected him to play. They expected things from him. I was looking for him. He's a guy that I think realistically could hit 20 to 30 home runs.
His power
every
is
year.
surprising.
Yes, it is. And the fact that he's sitting in South Korea and not on a Pirates bench right now.
When's his
it's
trial date?
disturbing.
The 25th?
The 25th of May. That's when his appeal is. And there's no guarantees how that's going to play out. I don't know if he's
I don't know how he gets out of Korea with his third DUI. South Korea is,
that's serious stuff. But in the meantime, the Pirates haven't quit. They still play a good brand of baseball. I was there in the rain on Saturday night. Watched the Pirates win 2-1 in extra innings. It was a good ball game. Not the best weather to sit outside and watch baseball game, but fortunately my seats
terrible weather
are under the shelter. So 2 rows in front of me, they got good and wet, and I stayed dry. And
well, that's a bonus.
That's why I picked the seats.
Because there was some rain there.
That's why I
sure.
picked the seats I have. They've asked me several times if I wanted to move them, and I said no, thank you.
No, that's a good position.
Yeah. So
no, well, that's good there. And
so you look at Adam Frazier is down in Indianapolis. He didn't make it out to the West Coast. He's on a rehab assignment. They need to get him back. He is our
he's a heck of a hitter.
4th outfielder. At least he can play the outfield and get on base. Austin Meadows seems to have livened up a little bit. He's 3 for 4 today. Here's another young man who looks to be a future piece of our outfield, and I think that we may see him before the end of the year, because
sooner than you think, maybe.
Who knows? I mean, we definitely need players. With the injuries of Freese and Adam Frazier, I didn't really realize how thin the Pirates bench was.
Yeah.
And what a difference players like Matt Joyce made last year.
Sean Rodriguez.
They were very big contributors to everything that we did last year.
We had such a deep team and a deep bench last year that could hit.
Yes.
It made a huge difference
there.
And
the fact of the matter was, these guys got signed. They became free agents, and somebody's going to offer them more money than the Pirates have budgeted to spend. So that leads me to this. It's not the fact that the Pirates didn't want to spend money, because here's my retort to that. Tell me the dollar figure that they need to spend that's going to guarantee success, okay? And the people that they have chosen to pay, and they paying them well, simply are not performing the way that they should be.
Sure.
They've got Polanco lined up. Marte screwed them. McCutchen is not performing to the level that he's shown that he can play. But Andrew McCutchen's 30 years old. It seems to be the breaking
Did he hit
mark.
a wall?
At 30, they say your skills start to erode. So I don't know if that's true or not. But we're getting great pitching. Garrett Cole has been pitching well, is getting absolutely no run support. Jameson Taillon was probably the best pitcher on the staff up until his diagnosis with testicular cancer. The rest of the pitching staff has been adequate. Ivan Nova won National League Pitcher of the Month for the month of April, and his record was only 3-2. But I mean, he went to a period where I forget how many innings he went without walking a batter. His control has just been unbelievable, and it was really a great signing for them this weekend. I guess they learned their lesson after Jay Happ slipped through our fingers last year. But you look at the amount of money that people spend, and you think, well, spending money equates to success in baseball. Well, look at the San Francisco Giants. They have a payroll that's almost double of what the Pirates is. Theirs is about $190 million, and they're 11-22. So the amount of money.
What
that
dollar
you spend,
amount do you need?
Yeah, so it's not a matter of how much you spend. It's how the people produce that you're paying, And right now, we need to get better production out of our offense, and we need to shore up the defense. If we're not going to score a lot of runs, then we can't keep giving runs to other teams.
Hey, man.
And I mean
that's common sense.
That's common sense, but we all know that common sense sometimes is not so common.
It's hard to find.
It's hard to find, but I haven't given up on the Pirates yet, because if you think about it, where they're at right now, with all the adversity they've gone through, they're only 3 games out of the first place. The Cubs are not the Cubs of 2016. The Cubs have fallen back to the pack, which I kind of
you predicted
said that was going to happen. That was their year. And I hope they wait another good 108 years for their next World Series championship.
How do you really feel about that, Chip?
But
that's a good one.
But there's reason for optimism. I mean, I'm not selling my tickets to the Pirate games. I enjoy going down to the ballpark. The Pirates are a
hey, maybe you can take
good way to
Smoking
spend
Jim
everything.
Frazier the next time it's not going to rain.
Hey, well, you know what? I'd be happy to
He
take
needs
him.
to relax.
If he could stay for more than 3 innings, he's welcome.
That could be a problem.
Well, I know. See, Jim has
He's averaged 3 innings in 4 years.
He's had a short attention span, but Jim, I'm just wondering if you're watching us, buddy. Just let me know. I'll bring you some reading material in a heartbeat. I got some great stuff for you if you want to read it, okay?
You got those 1,000-page books like I got pennies in my pocket.
I'll tell you what, I could enlighten a young man, help him see the light.
Hey, you were teasing us with about the Steelers.
Yeah, I was making the joke because, Jim, every year that I have known Jim Frazier, the Steelers get a D to a D minus as their grade for the draft. Even if he even gave the 1974 draft, the one with Lambert and Swan and Stallworth and Mike Webster. He even gave that one a D minus. But so I asked him what his grades were after the draft, and of course he had to make the comment about the long snapper, and I was going to go on record as telling everybody that it was his idea to draft a long snapper in the 6th round, but. You just wonder about that. It looks like the Steelers did address some of their needs. One of the things that I don't know, Jim, if you knew this or not, but the Steelers signed Russell Shell to a free agent contract.
I think he followed that.
Okay.
Yeah. He may have that because he's a big Shell man.
I know he was a very big fan of Russell Shell when he was playing out at Hopewell.
Yes, he was.
So he didn't fare so well here at Pitt, but kind of had like a ho-hum career at West Virginia. But, once again, it's a shame that a lot of these high school superstars from Western Pennsylvania, once they get out of their comfort zone, they just don't seem to
They don't have it.
perform so well. I look at Terrell Pryor, and I know Jim's...
That's his favorite.
Yeah, he's...
You're upsetting him. He's going to have to start taking some pills to relax.
Yeah, I know. He might. He
Watch that heart.
Might have to fibrillate him here or something like that.
Yeah. Defibrillator. Come on out. Nah, we'll keep him calm there. I'm just happy they picked up James Conner.
I think that was really a wise choice because, having 2 draft picks in the 3rd round really kind of enabled them to do that. And I just think that he makes a great complement to Le'Veon Bell because, you got young legs, you got strong legs.
Well, hold it.
You've got a power runner.
He's actually a good running back.
Very good. I mean, he's very good.
He's capable, and he can even catch the ball, too.
Right, and I think what the Steelers need to do, and you fault the Steelers for this, and in a way you can, and in another way I understand why they did what they did. But, Le'Veon Bell, for all rights and purposes during the season last year, there was no guarantee that he was going to be on the Steelers team this year. Okay, so you know what? If this was going to be the last year you're going to have him, yes, you run the bus until the wheels fall off. That's what he did with Willie
that up
Parker.
into the playoffs. So
now maybe we pull the reins back in on Le'Veon Bell and give him a break. And the only problem was love D'Angelo Williams. I don't know if there's a place for him on this team or not, but he was getting a little long in the tooth, and it seemed like he was getting injured more and more frequently. And you get a younger guy that less prone to injuries, even though he did have knee surgery. But I mean, and the thing is, he said that James Conner said that he played at only about 60% last year. after his
Just
rehab
hearing
from-
that number made me optimistic for this year.
Well, can you
I
imagine-
want to see him at 80, 90%.
Well, I'd like to see, after he gets a year of good, solid training in, and the fact of the matter is he doesn't have to get uprooted, and he's here. He's
it's just a transition
close
to another
home.
team.
Yeah, I mean they're going to the same facilities,
Yeah.
same weight room, same locker room,
Same food.
Yeah, yeah. I wonder if those chefs that hook up Jim are going to hook up James.
Yes.
I hope they do.
They will do that.
Yeah, they're going to have to start learning how to cook low fat from my dear friend Jim. But
Well, speaking of Jim, it's hard to believe he works 3 days a year, and he picked that week to go into the hospital
No.
because of some
don't-
chest congestion there.
I don't
What
think
did
he
you
has.
do? You didn't work this year.
I
now.
honestly don't think he had a choice in that matter. And thank God he got to the hospital when he did, because Jim, what you went through was some serious stuff, but your prognosis, I'm sure, is going to be nothing but positive and good. And now they got the problems in you fixed. You got the rest of your life to.
I can't wait to
Do
see our
everything.
lean, mean, smoking Jim machine.
Uh-huh.
That's what I'm waiting to see.
I'll
I
tell you
can't
what,
wait.
I-
Hopefully, he gets good news Friday that
I'm sure
he's
will.
allowed to come out to our show, and maybe his opening segment, he has to turn it down a notch.
Well, he's got a long road on his recovery, and I think he's going to do just fine. But they say usually when the problems with the hearts, once they discover what the problem is, it's easy fixing them. And they've already gone and done the fixing part. Now it's just a matter of getting your strength back and getting your feet back underneath you. And I think Jim's got the wherewithal to do that.
Oh, amen, brother. I got the prayers going his way. Get him back out there and about so he can drive out to New Ken. He's always going out to New Ken. I don't know what's out there, but whatever it is, he got to get back out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, that covers our Steelers there a little bit.
We got
We'll
them
go
on
over the
Steelers.
draft, what they did when Smoking Jim's
Yeah,
here,
yeah, 'cause
so he can
Jim-
give us a D plus this year.
Well, no, and Jim will give us the inside scoop. But when I asked him about the first 2 days of the draft, he loves loves the pick of T.J. Watts, loved the pick of Juju, Schuster Smith.
receiver.
And I don't know what his feelings are about the cornerback that we took in the early third round, but I do know that Jim and I both loved the pick of James Conner. I think that was probably the pick of the draft, and I think the Steelers are going to come out smelling like a rose on that one.
I'm optimistic with it, definitely. I'm hopeful that Le'Veon Bell won't get busted this year or anything. So far, so good.
Well, it's not so much Le'Veon Bell. It's like, I want to be optimistic that Martavis Bryant has turned himself around, but you know what? I mean, he's one failed test away from a lifetime ban.
Well, it sounds like he has, and he's devoted himself to working out more and getting in shape for the first time in his life. So I'm optimistic. I hear the right things. They're saying the right things.
I mean, here's the thing that he has to realize. He is in the random testing group, which means at any given day, at any given time, they can walk up with a specimen cup and tell him, young man, you need
It's
to fill
time.
this, And, we both know that a missed test is a
failure.
positive test. So, sleeping in is not an excuse. Le'Veon Bell figured that one out last year.
After he got caught. Now, it's a shame on what they're thinking. These are professional athletes. They're making money, and you got to go by the rules. There aren't many rules, but there's a few you got to follow. And we're about done with the show. I want to thank everybody for watching our show. Thanks for the prayers for Smoking Jim Frazier and your concern. I'll post up on Facebook when I hear from him on Friday on how he's doing, if he's allowed to do anything. We'll check that out. It was a pleasure doing a show with Chip. Somehow both of us can keep on talking. We got some more in the tank if you want. We got 12 seconds to go.
You got 12 seconds or 12 minutes, 12 hours, who knows? Then Al and I don't know how to shut up.
But we will end the show with Stay Joey Strong.